Yo, what's up? So I'm trying out this new noise cancellation thing. Hopefully you don't hear my PC about to explode in the background again, like usual. Before we get into it, make sure you claim your relic customization after you're done. You have about 2 days left, and also you have about 1 day left to summon for Yunchuan, and yeah, hopefully I can help you make that decision. Alright guys, welcome to my PowerPoint slideshow. Alright, enough trolling. So I've made it a bit more concise. So for Yunchuan, let's go over him. Enrichment Miracle, he's good for Fafnir, and that's about it. New units, pretty much any type disadvantage or type neutral, you can't use them anywhere else because of the debuffs in Enrichment Miracle. And then for Dislyte Lens, he's okay for Shadow Stream if you really don't have any other choice. He has a good leader skill buff of 40% attack lead, but he himself kind of sucks because his multiplier is only 120% on skill 1 and skill 2, and his passive doesn't work at all. And then for Sentinel Hunt, he is currently, even at R0, he's currently one of the best espers for it because of his third eye seal plus miss rate up, which adds up to like 65%. I think it's 65%. I think it's addition, it's not multiplicative. So yeah, 65% chance for the boss to miss is insane. Yeah, for now I don't think he has any contender for Sentinel Hunt, even in damage. But damage only comes when he has R2. R0 he kind of lacks damage a bit. For Infinity Tower, I tried to use him in floor 8, but he didn't quite work. So he's okay for floors that you can't AP control, because you need to somewhat control the boss. If you can't AP control, then you can't control the boss at all, aside from lowering his damage or increasing his cooldown. But with cooldowns, there's already Magni or Nick that you can use, which is a free-to-play option if you farmed him. Or if you have Elliot, then Elliot is going to be the best for that. Aside from non-AP control teams, he doesn't really quite work in Infinity Tower. In PvP, he's just, I can't make him work unless you have like a tricky to constantly stun or to kill the main cleanser fast. Then he doesn't work because his immunity has so many counters. His debuff has so many counters, which is cleanser. Everyone has cleanser in their defense team, or immunity. Gabrielle, everyone has Gabrielle, and even Clara with R2 gives like 2 turns of immunity. Then he just does nothing at all. And then Hyde, he has multi hits on S3 and S1. Hyde just eats him up. Yeah. So that's Yunchuan. Let's go over to Intissar. She is, again, Ritual Miracle. They're about the same. She's good for Chronos, he's good for Fafnir. But you don't need her to be at R2 for her to be good at Chronos. So yeah, Dislyte Lens, she is good for Shadow Stream and Shadow Fire. Shadow Fire, you can replace your Liling with her to get a bit more single target damage, because she does a bit more single target damage than Liling. Her AoE is just about the same as Liling because her S2 does 15% of the little balls on the sides. The frontmost ball I think has like over 100,000 HP, 100,000, 200,000. So yeah, she does a bit of damage there in terms of AoE. For Shadow Stream, I think she's going to be your second best DPS. If you have a Ggez, then Ggez is going to be your best DPS. She's probably going to be second. She could be first, I don't know. But I think she's going to be good for Shadow Stream because especially if you have her in R2, then she's going to follow up like crazy. At R0, maybe not. Maybe you have other options, especially Lu Yi existing. 3-turn nuke. Yeah, Lu Yi is probably better at R. If you have her at R0, then Lu Yi is probably better. And then for Sentinel Hunt, she has good debuffs: defense break, attack break, uh, miss rate up. So yeah, I think she's going to be good in Sentinel. I haven't tested her in Sentinel Hunt because the PTR server it basically resets my account to 0. You have to farm all of the relics, so I can't really test her in Sentinel Hunt. But I think she's going to be good because she has all these crucial debuffs, and if you have her at R2, she's going to be an amazing DPS. Because the follower on the right actually removes buffs. So if he removes your stealth debuff, stealth buff, then you could just continue using the S3 like crazy. For Sentinel, I don't think she's going to be better than Yunchuan, especially if Yunchuan is at R2. Yeah, Yunchuan R2 is just god tier in Sentinel Hunt. In Infinity Tower, she's just another DPS, so no. If you want to bring a DPS, then Sander's just better. For PvP, she's the same as Yunchuan pretty much. Her debuffs is only useful in PvE, because yeah, attack debuff or defense break is good if you're trying to one shot, but with the HP debuff, you can't really one shot anymore. The enemy has too much HP, and attack down debuff is pretty much useless in PvP because everyone runs like HP base character and supports now. So attack down is pretty much useless, and you can't even attack down like hide or something, right? And hide is everywhere, and she has 2 AoEs that does no damage. The S3's AoE does no damage, so hide is just going to eat her up. The S2 also does very minimal damage, so yeah, she's gonna get slapped around by hide. So yeah, let's take a look at the comparison real quick. So for Ritual Miracle, they're about the same. They're both good at something. She's good for Chronos, he's good for Fafnir. Desolate Lens, she is undoubtedly better than Yunchuan because Yunchuan is only okay at Shadow Stream, and you can use her in Shadow Stream and Shadow Fire. In Sentinel Hunt, in my opinion, I think Yunchuan is going to be undisputed for a while as the best Sentinel Hunt unit. Maybe R6 Unas beats him, but yeah, R6 Unas, there's like only one person that has it probably. So yeah, Sentinel Hunt, Yunchuan wins. Infinity Tower, Yunchuan is slightly better, I think, because he does have a place for Sentinel Hunt. He can provide speed up, he can provide speed down, and the Third Eye Seal debuff is also pretty good at lowering the boss's main damage. And in PvP, they're both pretty garbage, but Yunchuan is slightly better if the enemy has no like cleanser or something. You could probably make him work by bringing a stripper. But yeah, this time around everyone has like a Clara, some form of cleansing, you know. So he just doesn't work. So ultimatum, the final decision. If you're a free to play and you're going for R0, I think they're about the same. Yeah, R0, I think you can go either way. It depends on what you're trying to farm. If you're trying to farm Chronos, then you go for Intissar. If you're trying to farm Yunchuan, then you go for if you're trying to farm Fafnir, then you go for Yunchuan. R0 Intissar is slightly better, I think, because she has uses in the shadow bosses as well. But R0 Yunchuan is also still one of the best espers for Sentinel Hunt, because of that 65% miss rate up. That's really why he's so good in Sentinel Hunt. But if you're going for R2, I would have to say Yunchuan, because Yunchuan has his mechanic is still unexplored, but when it comes to Intissar, she's just a damager, and damager would pretty much get outclassed in due time. She's a pursuit unit, Yeah, she's good. She's good at DPS, but uh, that's all she has to her kit. Whereas Yunchuan, you can bring like a really fast team and you make him super slow, super DPS, and then he still does damage because whatever allies do to the enemy, he will just follow up. So in my opinion, R2 Yunchuan still has a lot of potential to him, because you can proc it through poison, you can proc it to bleed or a Nesidora's thing. So yeah, R2 Yunchuan. If you're going for R2, then I would say Yunchuan. If you are truly free to play, you know, if you have an extreme willpower to save, I would say skip them both. They're not really that game breaking, to be honest. If you don't care about Sentinel Hunt, they're not really all that good. They're pretty bad in PvP. Yunchuan is the best Esper for Sentinel Hunt, but if you don't care about that game mode, you can just skip them both, to be honest. Another reason for you to skip is because there's no Echo Tribute. So yeah, no Echo Tribute, easy skip. That's it. Ciao.